Okay, I think I turned YouTube on. Hopefully that works. There it is. Hello, me. Oh, no, I don't want to hear myself from the past. Thank you. Alright, it works. Good enough. Okay, I think we're all right on all fronts. Or just send a message out and we will be all good. Okay, I think we're ready. We'll take off the starting soon. There. Yeah, no? Where'd it go? What I turned off? I turned off the music track. Professional streaming. Hello, everybody. Well, Happy New Year for one. It's 2025 now, which just feels strange to say for some reason. But it was quite a busy and hectic holiday, so I feel a bit exhausted from all that. Let me bring up the thing. Yeah, there, that one. Okay. I'm trying to get all my windows in order here so I can see everything. The problem with Unreal, well, I guess it's not a problem necessarily, but a lot of the stuff goes off to another monitor, and which is helpful for me, but you can't see that monitor. But there's this whole other window of stuff over here with the details. And unfortunately, I got two on this computer, so when this pops up, because it actually goes away, like when you click to a different tab, so this will pop up as I'm like opening new assets and working on them, and it just completely covers chat over there. So I have to be kind of mindful to look over there and either move this or do whatever. Hey, Tim! That's late for you, isn't it? What the hell are you doing up? Oh, wait, I get the tab and I can dock it. I guess this is the default to have it here or like have it here or something, but on a 1080p monitor, it's really cramped for my liking. I find that like with the node stuff in the middle, it just, I don't know, I just need more space, so I usually put it on the other side. Hey, what's up? Yeah, it's Wednesday time. I'm a little late today. I'm pretty exhausted because just the whole holiday and everything and all that stuff. And I was up late last night, but obviously New Year's. So it took a little more time to get started up today. I tried to take a nap, but then that ended up, I overslept and everything. But I did do some stuff over the break here, so I do want to show off that stuff. Yeah, who isn't exhausted after New Year's? That's a good point, actually. So I might not go incredibly long today. I'm going to try to keep myself in check. But I did change a bunch of new things. Some things that people have been complaining about for a long time. Tim in chat. So let me show what I've got. Oh, I don't know if I explained what these are, if you've seen these on stream yet. This is just kind of my dropped frame rate detector, so to speak. Or I guess frame smoothness detector. They're flickering every on a 60 hertz thing, right? So if the frame rate is not consistent, you'll notice in the flickering, you'll notice They just don't flicker consistently. Obviously, it's just running at however many FPS it can. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't see that. Oh yeah, even if I zoom in, you can't. Yeah, here, hold on. Let me move this over here. I have a little frame rate counter average and over a 10-second average and a just whatever it was that second. And right now it's just running as fast as it can. So it's not gonna be consistent, but like in a release build, you know, something more consistent. These should not look off pattern. They should look consistently flickering all the time. But as you can see, they're going wild. They're going all over the place. You kind of expect that in the editor. But the thing is that Unreal, it will keep a consistent frame rate and it will tell you that it is, but I can see the skipping. I can see that it's dropping frames and stuff. So, I don't know if there's a way to detect that, like as a number. I assume that like the rendering started and then the next frame got done before the rendering finished, so it maybe canceled that render and then kept the same screen from last time and started to work on a new one, but it still counts it as a frame. I'm not really sure, but it's obviously not as smooth as it should be. Even in release builds, so I don't know. And now it's worse because I changed some of the settings in Unreal to prioritize responsiveness and input lag instead of smoothness of frame rate. So now it's like really bad, and I've got to tweak some stuff to get it right. And obviously there's a lot of efficiency things that we can do over time to help kind of bring down the workload going on in the engine. So we'll see. It'll get better, but so that's one thing. But the so let's see, we'll go to the thing here. So you won't notice anything too much right away. However, I don't know if you can really hear the sound effects. I turned them down usually. But I did change some of the sound effects in this build because I redid the entire system for playing sound effects in this one. So I wanted to try different ones, especially like the charging sound is a lot different. Oh, that's different. Did you notice anything from those last few screens? Here. That's new, right? How about that? Yeah, the transition. So now you can all stop complaining that there's no screen transitions. Because there they are. They're still kind of prototype. They're not as accurate to like the original games as I would like. But again, we're still in the prototype build here, so it kind of is what it is. It's going to get redone at some point. I was working on code that could tell me what edge of a box is a location closest to. And then when I was done with that, I was like, well, I could probably do screen transitions now. And sure enough, in about 20 minutes, I had screen transitions working. So whenever Mega Man's detected to have started to enter another screen, it'll run the routine that's like, okay, so in this box here, I don't know if I can really show it from there. Not with that camera. But there are box rooms here. Are they hidden? I locked them, but are they hidden or no? I guess they're kind of invisible. I probably made the colliders invisible, I believe. But this is what the game room is, just one big giant collider, and when Mega Man runs into it, it triggers the screen change. So there's this cube. Is it told to be... I think it's Visible? Is visible. Yeah, yeah. Oh, there it is. So you could probably see them now. Yeah. So these are the screens, the borders of the room. And when Mega Man makes contact with one, it sort of captures the screen or the camera object and restricts it to the boundary of the thing here. So it's a little crude. I want to do something a bit better than that, you know, when we move out of the prototype. But that's basically it. So then I run a routine that's like, okay, Mega Man touched another room. So what side, you know, right, left, top, bottom, what side is he closest to? Now fix the ladders. That one's definitely not going to get fixed until we move to out of the prototype build, for sure. Does Twitch says I'm playing Apex Legends again? Why? I change it every time. Yeah, not Apex. Get out of here. I swear, I'm getting too old to do this, I guess. There, software and game development. Thank you. Save, please. Done. I have changed this so many times, and it just keeps coming back. Okay. It's fixed. Thank you for telling me that, though, because I did not notice that. Yeah. Oh, it's auto-saving. At least it's not Fortnite. Fair enough, right? You think it's tied to the stream splitting thing? It could be. They changed how that works. So I use Restream, a service called Restream, unfortunately not free, to basically get, you know, on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And they changed how all that worked, and I thought I had it under control, but maybe not. So anyway, let me turn these off so that they don't show up. And actually, you know what? I could leave these on, but oh, there is a hidden in game. Okay, that'll work. Because you can just like hide all these that are in the folder here. And these folders are just like organizational. They don't really control like the object hierarchy necessarily. So I can just hide these. It'd be better if I can see them on a whim, which is what I thought it was set to. And then they shouldn't show up when the game starts. That hiding game. Yeah, otherwise you'd probably see it overlapping everything. Yeah, okay, that works. But yeah, screen transitions, that's the big visual thing that I've changed since then. So I think they work okay, they look all right. I'll have to, it's a little crude at how it works. Like, so Mega Man's still animating, but he's not in control, you know, when you're going through, which I did very crudely. I turned off Mega Man's time. So like everything pauses. It turns off time for, well, not everything, but most things pause, like enemy AI and movements and stuff. Everything gets paused. But then I uncouple Mega Man's animations from the time controller and then run it strictly through like normal time, through the engine time, and it goes. But the consequence of that is that he will still be animating if you are paused. So it's a bit jank, it's a bit crude. You know, otherwise pausing works all right, which is all the same system. I can freeze time, pause time, slow down time, speed up time, or whatever on groups of objects, which is a system that I made. I don't believe Unreal can do that on its own. At least certainly not to the level I need it to. Not gonna lie, I kind of like Mega Man animating during the transition. Reminds me of the boss doors in the X games. Yeah, I've noticed that in Mega Man 7 at least, if you walk into a boss door or a screen transition, he will still be walking. You'll see him animate, but if you're jumping, it freezes the animation. Or I should say probably, if you are sliding or walking, the animation plays. If you are doing anything else, it freezes the animation and it will cancel whatever you were doing when you come back out. So if you jump into a door and you keep holding the jump button, you will still fall when you come out to the other side of the door to screen transition. And I noticed, like, with the rush adapter, the I don't know, it's a double jump essentially mechanically, right? Where you get the little jetpack boost if you press jump in the air. Like, that will also cancel. It will freeze the animation and it will cancel that as soon as you're through the transition, and you'll just fall again. So it seems like there's some rules in play. I didn't, like here, I can still keep jumping. I didn't replicate that yet, but I was just looking at that earlier today. I thought that was kind of neat. And yeah, like the X Games do that, where you can continue running through the transition, which is funny because the X Games, the only transition is through the boss doors, where Mega Man 7 has actual screen transitions like the old games, you know, during the level. No, I looked at Mega Man 7 only so far. So in NES, yeah, in the NES games, Mega Man did not have a jump animation. It was just a single frame. So I guess you wouldn't know either way, right? But no, in the Super Nintendo one, Mega Man 7, his jump animation actually stops once he hits the screen transition or the boss door. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't check it, but I would assume that ladder climbing is an animation that plays during screen transitions. Obviously, all of mine do, so it gets it by default, but I didn't specifically look at that, but I would imagine that in Mega Man 7 you do definitely get that. I think the charge sparkles in 7 also continue to play during the transition. I think the thing with Mega Man in 7 is that it locks the horizontal position and puts you in a fall state immediately afterwards. You're airborne. Probably, yeah. Yeah, in this case, I do freeze Mega Man's time as an object, so he's definitely like frozen, and then the movement itself is run by the screen transition routine. So I've got I can show it. Where is it? Oh yeah, before I forget, you can, I didn't know this, you can put colors on the folders in here and change what they look like, so it makes them easier to find. I just learned that. Oh well, now that green color's gone that I had. There, now it's back. I thought that was useful. It helps me find things. So like the actor folder is always blue for me and stuff. Oh yeah, have a good one. Thanks for showing up. I know I was a little late today. What was I was looking for the game mode? Yeah, game mode. Not instance, but mode. Oh yeah, definitely here. Update screen transition. So what happens is there's a start screen transition function, and I'm not sure if Mega Man or the game room calls it. I think it's the game room. Yeah. So if something overlaps the game room, then it goes to check overlap. It checks to see if it contains the character is contained by them, and then it'll set the focus. And set focus, I think, is what calls the screen transition. Yeah, it tries to get all the data first. So it checks who's the previous room, which could be nothing if you were in the debug area first. Oh yeah, it tries to get the game mode. If you can't get the game mode, then there's an error. Check to see who the previous room was. You know, the actor, I guess, that's responsible for that. And then it tries to say from the previous room, where is the character? This is the get actor bound. No, that's just getting the actor bounds. And then it makes a box 2D out of that. Then gets average location. I guess box 2D. This is for the previous room. I'm sorry. It's not getting Mega Man's thing here. It's making a box out of the previous room, and then transform that from a 3D box to a 2D box, and then it gets Mega Man's location. I don't know if that's the average. Is there a first location? No, that's all right. This is the runtime list where the player is contained. If it's the average, will spit back just the if there's only one person in the list, which of course that's, there's only one Mega Man. It knows enough to optimize that, and it only gets the first result. And then this is the one. Given Mega Man's location and the box of this room that he's leaving, try to find out which side he's leaving on. And if I put a switch on here, you can see all the results of what it would be. So invalid if it's, some calculation error. And then there's the inside and the outside positions. So if you... Let's see. Yeah, this is good enough. Just boop, and we'll zoom in. It's not as straightforward as you might imagine. So you've got the box here and say this is us, Mega Man. So if you're inside, you want to get, how close you are to like the top and the bottom and whatever. But when you're outside, it's actually not quite as simple because you've got to contend with the corners. So you could be out here, or you could be here, so you gotta like check, are you in the corner? If you're outside, maybe you're on the left, but you're also above it, then okay, you're on the top left, that kind of stuff. And that's what that routine does. That's why there's so many results here, because you could be the outside corner, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, etc. So that there's a lot of different, results that it could give you. But anyway, we saved that result into our exit side variable. And then here, based on that, we determined the transition. Oh, how about that spelling mistake? Transition. Okay, that fixed that. So then here, we basically just want to have like the top, or we just want the 4 cardinal directions. So it looks a little spaghetti, but it's just connecting like all the corners here. Yeah, if you are out of bounds, then I just do the instant transition type instead of trying to go up, down, or left or right. If it's invalid, some calculation error happened, or you're outside on those corners, I just snap you to it, because something obviously went wrong if you somehow exited out of the corner. And then otherwise I do, top, inside top, and outside top, above. Inside top, outside above. I guess that makes sense, because you're above. That must have been what I was thinking. You're above the box if you're outside through the top. But I wonder if I should make them outside top and inside top. Well, either way, inside top and outside above will go to up, so I just kind of corrected them that way. And this is bugging me that it's not aligned. And that's how I determined the screen transition type, which is the directionality. Then we despawn selected actors. So there's a despawn list, and all the enemies and all the, I don't know, I saw it was unsaved. I get paranoid when I see unsaved stuff. So like all the, I guess they're not spawned in. I'll have to open one here. All the enemies are on this list. So the enemy base, they have a runtime list subscriber, and they are on that despawn on room transition list. So they'll all bite the bullet. All the projectiles, both Mega Man's and the enemy ones, so the enemy projectile also on the list here. So they'll all just disappear. They'll get despawned when that happens. And that's what this is for. It goes through the list and it tries to find... Yeah, it tries to find if it has a component and then tries to despawn it from there. I think I made a new function though that actually macros all that together. So is there a despawn actor? I'll look it up in a second. Let's see. I like the part when Mega Man rules the space and starts space ruling all over. That sounds vaguely gross. Let's see. Oh yeah. I learned this the hard way. If you are in a place that has a lot of brownouts or a lot of excuse me, or a lot of like power outages just randomly, it's worth either working on a laptop which has a battery or getting what's called a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. And they're not like super cheap, so they're probably about $100 US, but it's basically a battery backup that you can plug any like normal electronic into, and it will keep the power going when the power cuts or gets too low or too high or whatever. It'll cut the outside power and use like its battery for a while, and it lasts like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but it's usually enough to at least like save your stuff and like get out of there and shut it down. And they are invaluable. Because they protect against more than a surge protector as well. So like the TV, you know, all the computer equipment here, it's all on that backup. So if something happens, like a power surge or something else, it can really save that stuff. Because we've had some strange power issues like at the old place that we were at, and it killed the battery backup. It killed the uninterruptible power supply, but it saved the TV that it was attached to. So they do work. They do work. They will take the bullet for your stuff. You know, I don't know if it'll stop a direct lightning strike or something. That's probably out of the question. I don't know if anything can stop a direct lightning strike, but as far as like any kind of anomalies from the power station, that stuff really helps. And I do not put a computer or a TV into a wall without one anymore. And they last quite a while. So, you know, you spend $100 now, but you've got it for like 6 to 8 years. You know, it's really good. So yeah, I don't play with that anymore, because yeah, like you say, you get paranoid and you start like saving every 5 seconds. Yeah, when you think the power's gonna go out at any point, it's bad. I had a power surge that killed the modem, the PCI Express port, and the surge protector all at once. Yeah, it can be bad. Like, surge protectors are okay, but they're really kind of like a first line of defense, and they're not as foolproof as people think. You get a good power surge from the power company, it will go right through it. It can just blow things out. Or nearby lightning strikes have that effect too, where they can come through the phone line. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, some surge protectors have a network port in there too. Some of them, they do have a network port there. Those uninterruptible power supplies, they definitely have network and phone ports. So they're very helpful. Because yeah, if you can have a surge protector on your thing, but if you have like a fax modem hooked up to like your printer or something, you can get a surge through the phone line into the printer back into your computer. It just, yeah, it's all in there. So you be careful with that. I'd show it to you, but it's all plugged up, or not plugged up, but it's all plugged in and stuff. So they're also pretty heavy. The batteries are big that they have them. But I would recommend them to anybody. Uninterruptible power supply. You can get them from pretty much anywhere. Amazon's got them. You want a good reputable brand though. So like, I think the one I have is an APC. I've got 2 different brands, so anyway, yeah, let me just double check here really quick. I thought I built a macro for this. Let's see. Yeah, actor pooling. Not a macro. I want to use, I'm a little loose with the terminology. When I say macro, I didn't mean like an Unreal macro. But I built a function, I thought, to despawn actor. Yeah, ufunction, static, despawn actor through actor. So how come these aren't showing up? That's weird. Did I do something wrong? Would I not make them blueprint? Oh, I didn't make them blueprint callable. Well, that would definitely do it. Yeah, it shouldn't be a pure one. So that's my fault. I didn't make them blueprint callable. I also need to complete the name thing here. Is it extension here? I use this little... Here's a funny thing. You can use ASCII, extended ASCII characters and some Unicode emojis in your display name. And that's how I made this. I did the emoji for the white exclamation point, and I think this is like an extended ASCII character, so like a double arrow. And I put that on all of my nodes that have a branch. So now it should be, there it is. See how it comes out? Not all the emojis are supported, but a good variety of them are. So I use this for branching, and when I mean, when I mean that, I have 2 different versions of the component, or I'm sorry, not a component, I read the word and said it. 2 different versions of the function. One that just returns a success. Oh, that's funny. I must have put a parenthesis in there by accident. I'll recompile that in a minute. One that just has a success, so if you need the branch on your own, you've got that. And then this one has the branch automatically in here. So you have both types. I like to do that because it's very handy. Sometimes I don't need the branch, but sometimes... Oh, that's through component. I want to do through actor. So I basically macroed, so to speak, the functionality of finding the component and trying to despawn the actor, so you don't have to do it through 2 different nodes. So it will just call this function here despawn actor, and that's it. It just looks through it, checks to see if there's a component, and despawns it, which should be. Oh, I can make this one const. Yeah, let's do that. Const just means you can't change whatever came in, whatever data came in. So in this case, the pointer can't be changed. I think you can't call anything on the pointer that's non-const. So this is a const function. It's kind of like declaring your intent of like, I'm not going to change the data on this object during this function. And so if you try to, you will get a compile error. So it's kind of a reminder of like, oh, I can't do that with this. This is a const function. But from a const pointer, you can only call the const functions. So it can kind of like be like a safety thing so that you're not messing with data that you don't want to screw up. Let's see. Yeah, this just tries to see if the component is valid. If it is, it gets the owner would be actor, and then just calls this and continues down. And this, if you have the actor, you just send it that. These are just kind of convenience functions. I call them macros in the sense that they are combining the functionality of two different things. Here, just getting the component and calling the despawn. But calling them as separate nodes is technically a little less efficient. I mean, we're talking microseconds at that point, but every microsecond can count, so we'll do that. And we don't care about the results, so we'll just leave. We won't need to use the branch. To be honest, I could probably make this whole thing a macro, just going through the for loop, but this is a prototype, so I'm not too worried about it. But I figured while I had it open here, and I already had that function ready to go, then I should make the switch. So yeah, then it despawns all the actors. And then, honestly, this should probably be the responsibility of the screen transition controller and not the game room, but hey, whatever. Then with all the data that it's collected and calculated, finally, we call from the game mode, start the screen transition. We say the new room is us, because this is the room that has determined that contains Mega Man. And then it took all of this to figure out what type of transition we were going to do. And there we set the current room. Some of this is spaced out and goofy because it was kind of quickly thrown together as a prototype. Save the screen transition type and the transition mode. So that's on standby is when it's waiting for new instructions, and transitioning when it's actually doing something. Here it freezes time for everybody. And yeah, so it starts by freezing everybody's time. Well, not everybody, but enemy time, player time, and camera time. And then we go, oh yeah, the screen transition direction that we figured out. If it's instant, then we stop the timer that's responsible for doing the smooth transition. Otherwise, we set the timer to screen transition time, which I made this I call it the Hertz time. It does an automatic calculation for you. You say what's the Hertz? In other words, how many ticks a second? And how many ticks do you want out of that, total? And then it'll convert that to seconds for you. So it's kind of a convenience thing. Because I like to think of things in frames. I'm like, Mega Man's jumping is 28 frames or whatever, to get to the apex, and maybe 28 to come down, or maybe it's more or less to come down depending. And so having something like this kind of makes it a little human readable, because if we do that math, right? If we do that math, the 45 divided by 60? Oh, well, that came out pretty all right. That's pretty human readable. It's 0.75, but let's say 44 divided by 60. What do we get? Yeah, okay, do I want to type this in? I don't know what this is in frames. 0.73 repeating? I don't know what that is. I'd have to convert it back. I'd have to multiply it by 60 to say, oh, it's 44 frames, and then undo that change, or, then divide by 60 again to put it back to seconds. I'm not going to do that. So I just made a little struct that just takes these two things and calculates it for me. So yeah, I think that's well worth the couple microseconds to not even a couple, probably 0.02 microseconds to do that calculation. I don't care. I'll take that efficiency downgrade for the human readability. Yeah, so then we go to screen transition type. If we are right or left, oh yeah, horizontal, I guess, in that case. I should comment that then. if I was questioning it, then what was it clear? Why is it clear? I guess that's kind of cool, actually. Have like a half transparent red. It's a little too transparent though. How about that? No? Oh, because it's already a little transparent. Yeah. I have a policy that if I'm looking at something and I don't immediately know what it is, and then I go, oh, that's it's right and left. That means that must be versus up and down. That must be horizontal. Well, put a comment. That's my hot tip. Put a comment. I do not know why this is now all of a sudden defaulting to half brightness. We'll make it, I don't know, blue to contrast it to the other one. I'll make it more... Yeah? Okay, that's pretty alright. Yeah, that'd be my tip. If you question something, write a comment. You're like, oh, what's this? Well, that means there should have been a comment there to begin with, because it obviously wasn't obvious from when you first looked at it. So yeah, if we're going horizontal, then we want to use from the screen transition time, we want to get how far the player moves horizontally, which is only 16 pixels. And we divide that by the time it takes to do the screen transition, so you get a nice smooth location to location. That gives you the move speed, so to speak. And then the camera move speed, the camera has to move a lot more. It's got to move an entire screen worth. So that's like 256. Yeah, 256 horizontally. And vertically too, I actually cut off a tile on top and bottom, but the rooms are made in squares, and that is true for Mega Man 7. It's something that we learned by observing it. Because I'm like, wow, those vertical screen transitions seem like they're going, farther, and you'll see details as the screen moves down or up between the rooms that are not visible when it's fully transitioned up or down. There's actually like 32 pixels that are hidden in they exist, but the camera goes beyond viewing them when it goes up and down, because the Super Nintendo resolution is 224 height, but the maps are 256 in height per room. So I just replicated that. It also makes making the maps a little easier because they're actually square in that case. But anyway, so then, yeah, and if it's vertical, then you just take the Y out of this vector 2. And then same thing. I think the screen transition time is the same for both though. Yeah. And then when we're done calculating that, we do, the direction as a vector. So I just hard-coded these. Right is 1, left is -1x, up is z +1, and down is z -1. Those are just in world coordinates. That's just how they all are in Unreal. Where z is, when viewing 2D, like as a side scroller, the z is the height up and down, not the y. The y is actually kind of like the depth from that perspective. So, but it is what it is, it's fine. And then finally, we get the player runtime list. We see if it has anything in it, and it should. Otherwise, Mega Man is missing, and that's not good. Then we look for what? The actor sequencer? Oh yeah, this is what I added to decouple. So I had a feature that I made, adapt playback speed to the time controller. And that tied his animation, whatever one was playing, to be scaled in time, but time is 0 now because we stopped everybody's time up here, we set freeze time, and that changes the time scale to 0. So his animations will stop, but I want to uncouple that link between them. So I do go ahead and do that, and that's what keeps him walking when otherwise he'd be frozen. And yeah, and I think that concludes the startup routine. And then there is an update screen transition because game mode can tick. I think. Wait, what is? No, that's game room. Sorry, game mode. Yes, game mode can tick, and that's where it updates screen transition. If the transition is currently on standby, then we just get out of here because there's nothing to do. But if it is in the transitioning state, which it should be now because we started it, first we check to see if the timer has finished since the last time we looked at it. If it has, then we end, and we start by unfreezing the time that we froze, and then turning the transition mode back to standby, get the actors from the camera list. Yeah, okay, then we finalize setting the camera focus to the now current room that we've just transitioned to. So it tells it tells the camera to kind of lock into that zone now. And then the last instruction would be, setting Mega Man's time back to adapt to the time controller, and then clearing that reference that we saved. And then, and if it's not done, if the timer wasn't finished, then we got to update the timer. This is a timer system that I made just as like a convenience thing. It does more than just convenience. Like, it can tell you other information. Let's see, I made it as a struct, so I had to make a blueprint function library to call the individual things like update and stop timer, reset timer from the struct here, because it's just a struct. And the reason I wanted to make it a struct and not a U object is so that I could just put it in as a parameter and use it immediately. I don't have to instantiate it. I don't have to create a new object and stuff it in the pointer during begin play or whatever. It's just ready to go. And it really doesn't have anything. There's no reason to have it as a pointer, because you're not going to be sending this out anywhere. And even if you wanted to, you could technically do that anyway. So like, it's not. It's just way more convenient to have this as a struct. But it could tell you other things like get a ratio of how far it's progressed. What was the initial time that you told it? What's the remaining time? And then it can loop. It's got loop options. It's got all sorts of stuff. And then it will, during the update, it will send back a Boolean as to whether or not it finished doing its own thing. So there's a bit of logic to it. It's not just a container for a number, that's for sure. And then I put a branching node on it to make it easy to use. So if it did finish, then we just go back up here and say, okay, we're done. If it did not finish, then we check for the player. And I think this is moving him. Yeah, this is moving Mega Man. We find out how much we need to move him during this frame, and then build a vector for that, and then move them. Now this is handling more than just one actor, just on the off chance that there's another instantiated player somewhere. It is doing a for each loop. It doesn't really have to do that, but either way, I'm not planning to do like co-op or anything, but it's only going to run once anyway because there's only one in there. And then it'll actually Well, you could use add actor world offset instead of set actor location, and then you have to do get actor location plus what you want to add to it, and then, you know, set that. You can skip all that stuff, but you could just say add actor world offset, and that's basically the same thing. So I just do that from the calculation of how far it needs to move. And then I do the same exact thing for the camera. You know, I think the reason that there's a for loop here is I probably did the camera one first, and I just copy and pasted this to this one and just kept it the same, which that's fair. But yeah, then it moves the camera. Again, calculates how much it needs to move this frame and just does it. And that's it. That's the entirety of the thing. It's pretty basic. But I do the one thing I mentioned earlier, where the game room is making the decision to despawn the actors. I don't think we should have that responsibility as part of the game room itself, the box that defines that room. I think that's kind of out of its scope for what it should be doing. This should be done in the game mode. This should be done in start screen transition. Because we have like the freeze time here, it should be here. It should be right here. So what we're gonna do is first we have to get the variable for that runtime list that contains all the things that are designated to be despawned. And excuse me, man, I'm dogging here. With my voice. It's just dry. I think it's just a change of the seasons. Excuse me. Yeah. We have to have... Yeah, because there's a screen transition time free... Oh, that's time sources. Do we have a runtime list for it? Oh, we do right here, player runtime list. So we're just going to duplicate that and call it despawn. Despawn list doesn't exist. So we're just going to replace it with that. And we'll just connect to here. Get rid of that. There. How about that? And now it is, excuse me, we'll remove it from here completely. We can get rid of that. And now it's been transitioned over. Now let's make sure this actually works. It's not goofed up now. So if we go here, and yeah, they all disappeared before the screen transition. Blink. Yep. You see both the enemy and the buster shots all disappear. It's kind of interesting because in Mega Man 7, like the charge shot won't disappear when you touch the boundary. I think it stops moving, but the sprite is still there. Man down? What? I went down for a moment? Oh no. The game is incorrectly set again? You are right. It is. Oh my god. How long was I out? What was it? Software? Software and game development there. Done. Please save forever. Thank you. That's... Well, anyway, I'll go back just for a second here. I moved the despawn actors out of the game border object, or not the game border object, the game room, the border for that specific area. So these room objects, they were the ones that were making the decision to despawn the enemies. but I didn't think that was correct. So I moved it out of there. The code used to be here, so I moved it into the game mode manager, which handles like freezing the time for actors and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely a better spot for this thing to be in. So I made that change, and I'm just testing, make sure I didn't destroy everything. But I believe it works out okay. Because you'll see the buster shots will also get nullified. See, they all disappear. Everything on screen, boop, it's gone. So it looks like it's working. Boop. Yeah, and then it all goes. Yeah, I'm invincible, by the way. There's no damage yet, so I can just walk through stuff. I kind of like when I play test it, I kind of like pretend like, oh yeah, I gotta jump out of the way or whatever, but there's actually no damage yet. Went down 1 minute ago, and yeah, a whole 60 seconds. Yeah, that'll definitely split the VOD. I think Twitch is a little more lenient with that. But yeah, I think YouTube's a bit more strict with that, unfortunately. It's just either the internet or something went out briefly. I do get that sometimes. I don't think it's my equipment. I think just the internet here is a little shaky, but you know, I'm in the mountains, so I guess I can't expect a continuous connection all the time, right? Sometimes Twitch prevents the VODs from splitting, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it is kind of weird. I've noticed that. Like Facebook, I don't mention it much because there's not too many people on there, but there's a Facebook page for my stuff. It was the Pocket Fighter EX page, but now I just changed it to my name, Mark D Wiz, and it does stream to there too. I noticed that one's really touchy. If it goes down for even a second, then there's gonna be like 3 VODs. Like, okay, it's like not much I can do about it. The people will figure it out when it shows that, like, you know, one's only like 20 minutes or something. Yeah, so I guess that pretty much completes the, yeah, itchy. That pretty much completes the room transition stuff. So it works reasonably well. I don't think it would be terrible to have that in the final. But I would like to tighten it up a little bit more. Especially this part feels pretty hacky. I just put this in there really quick, so I don't know. I'd probably make a macro for this one. Wonder who should have the responsibility of that one? Would it be... Because there's the runtime list, right? Would the runtime list have that responsibility, or would the... the actor spawning system? I don't know if they cross-reference each other at all. We can check in here, though. Yeah, this one only references the main plugin. I feel it would be the pooling system's responsibility to implement that macro. Because it would have to know what the real logic is in order to despawn, I guess. And sort of optimize that for itself. But sometimes it's hard to figure which has the responsibility in some cases. Like when you're converting something, I try to think of it that way. If you're saying, oh, I want to convert a 2D position to a 3D position, who has the responsibility to make that? Does the 3D position say, oh, I'm taking in a 2D position and I'll know what to do with that? Or does the 2D position say, well, I know what to do to make something a 3D position, and I kind of usually fall back on whosever format you're converting to. So the 3D position knows what a 3D position is and, you know, how that should be formatted. But a 2D position shouldn't really have that knowledge. It's not really an expert on 3D stuff, so it shouldn't be making that decision. You should offload it to the thing that the thing actually is. And that's why I try to think of it that way. So, while the runtime list object knows how to get the stuff from itself, like it knows its internals, and then it can just easily step through the pre-programmed get the component and despawn the actor. I feel like that kind of makes the most sense in that case. Other than the actor pooling system trying to figure out how to use the runtime list seems less likely. So I think the runtime list should be the one, yeah. Runtime list should be the one doing it. Because it is managing internal data, where the actor pooling system doesn't need to do that. It shouldn't have the knowledge of how the internals of the runtime lists work. And then the runtime list doesn't need to know how the actor pooling system works. It just calls one function and it's ready to go. So I think that makes sense. So it should be the responsibility of the runtime list. I think that makes sense. So runtime. Oh, it already has it's already hooked up to the actor pooling too. So okay, that makes a lot of sense. Watch me have already made this function and have never used it. That would be embarrassing. Let's see, this is a data asset, right? Yes, so let's see, what do we got? Once you add in proper hurt boxes, you'll never be able to escape Tamp again. Yeah, I was actually sketching out a basic hit system, not just the hurt boxes, but the system to calculate the data, find out who hit who, and then based on a set of rules, kind of like decide, okay, for example, you hit a Sniper Joe with a big old charge shot. It hits both his actual hitbox, but also his shield hitbox. Then you'll have to have rules in the system that say, okay, you made contact with both of those points, but because you contacted the shield, we're going to actually cancel the message for damage on that Sniper Joe. Because you did hit his actual hurt box too, which will generate the intention to send that message to say, hey, you got hit, you need to take damage. But the rules kind of step in after the day is collected and sort things out and say, oh, well, yeah, you also hit the shield hitbox, so we're going to throw those out. We're not going to do the actual damage there. I'm sketching out how that system works right now, and I think I've got a pretty good idea on how I want to do it. The tricky part is a lot of that's going to be custom to the game that you're making. So you can make a universal system to collect the data, but to sort that data really should be the responsibility of the game that you're making. The rules in Mega Man are not going to be the same as the rules in Street Fighter, and so on. Yeah, true. I was just going to mention that if the projectile coming from his back and it hits him, and it also hits the shield at the same time, it should do damage because the shield is facing the other way. Yeah, so you can handle that in the rules. You can check to say, the shield box is on the left side of the character, you hit on the right side, and so that rule only applies when they're on the same side. And yeah, you can definitely do that. But think of it like this way, there's no Sniper Joe in Street Fighter. If you're making a Street Fighter game, it doesn't know what a Sniper Joe is. You don't want to build that into the universal system. You want to be able to have the Universal system have features that'll say, okay, so for the game that you're making, we're going to collect the data. We'll do some basic rules, universal rules, but then we're going to hand that data over to, an object that you designate in the game that you're making, not the system, but the customized game. And then that can further process those rules and weed more stuff out or change the behavior or something. But that's also going to have its own data. So the universal data is just whether something connected with something, but it has no concept of damage or, directionality or any of this stuff. So your game implementation is going to have that additional data attached to these things or these events that are happening. And so I'm thinking at this point, each interaction should generate a handle. Like there's a certain ticket number that you get with every interaction, and your custom part of the system that's not programmed in the universal part, but the custom part will have sort of like a ticket redemption system. So you'll say, oh, hey, I've got this ticket from this collision. Give me the data, the customized game data that we set up and built. Give me that for this interaction. And then I can make a more informed decision on what's going on at that point. And then you can use that to help your rules sort out the stuff. And then once all of that is done, it'll say, okay, we threw out these ones, we're doing these ones, and then all the ones that is keeping it finally then informs each of the participants in the system. You took damage from this guy, and you took damage from this guy, and you took damage from that guy, and then each of them can now say, okay, now we're going to react to the damage being done, and so on and so forth. I want a Sniper Joe in Street Fighter. Is there a character with a shield in any Street Fighter? I don't think so, right? I guess the closest thing might be Yuri and his Aegis Reflector. But I don't know. I don't think anybody really has like a shield. In King of Fighters, there are a couple. The startup of Kyo's like big winding punch thing, I think that has a shield in the first part. Well, Rose can reflect. That's true. Rose can reflect. So there you go. Play Rose. Does Kyo's anti-air, his Shoryuken move, so to speak, that has some kind of like blocking property, right? In the first few frames? Or something like that? There's a couple weird ones like that, where they have some frames where they will actually like block an attack. But yeah, Athena and Rugal have reflex too, yeah. But either way, but that's how the system should work. It collects all the data, sorts everything through the custom rules that you built, and then it informs all the participants. You got hit. If it was thrown out, they don't get any notice. It just didn't happen, and that was it. The rules can also change the result too, to say, instead of getting hit, you parried it, or you blocked it, or it was some other kind of result. You can do that too. And that's the system and kind of sketching out, like, how do we collect the objects? Who's participating in the system? How do we get that data and store that data? And, how do we collect all the hitboxes to do the overlap check and stuff? So I started sketching that out yesterday. It's probably going to take a couple weeks to get through that, though. Assuming that I don't get sidetracked on other stuff. But I think it's about time to at least get the basic skeleton of that system ready. Because a lot of the other stuff is complete at this point. Back-end stuff. So, anyway, do we have a despawn? I guess I can just control F. despawn without capital. Nope, we do not. So I'm going to add a new region at the bottom here. I guess we'll start with public. There will be a protected version. So Pragma region, and we'll call it actor spawning system. Sure. And then Pragma end region. And now we can like collapse this if we want. Oh, gotta get it off that. There. Is it happy now? It's not happy. Why is that? Okay, it caught up. Now I can collapse it into its own thing, which I probably should be doing for these because this is a very long file here. Most of these are just calling something from somewhere else, but yeah. So the public version is going to be the C++ version of it. So we don't need a return value. Do I have any kind of specific naming convention here? Not really. So despawn all actors. I don't think it needs parameters, and that's pretty cut and dry. Okay, and then in here, the definition, we will want the actor pooling system should have an array version of this. So despawn actors. And this should be a T array. Okay, whoop, I'm on the wrong one. Const T array of actor pointers called actors. I like to keep it simple here. So the runtime list, hold on, I got too many things open here. I need that one, I need that one. I don't need this or this or this. Don't need that. Runtime actor list. Don't think I need that one. Okay, I think this is all the ones I need. So the pooling system should be the one that handles this logic, and then it can literally just call this and call one function here and be done with it. Kind of like this. You know, it's like, oh, get that? Well, it's just calling a function from the actor extension that says get number of actors outside the box area. Like, that's it. And I like to keep it that way. Keep the responsibility in the class that knows the most about it, and then just call it from wherever it is to here. In fact, I don't even need to leave. I don't even need to have the definition there. I can just inline it. And we're going to make it here. So despawn actors. We'll do a for each on actors. We'll do actor. And honestly, we could just call despawn actor on the actor, and that's it. See, it's nice and modular. If I already have functions split up for this, well, there it is. Oh, this shouldn't be bool. It should be void. There's no, I don't think there's any reasonable data that can be returned from here. Like, at best, maybe, like, whether or not you had any errors, but I don't think it's necessary. What's this? Set pass parameter by const reference. Oh, I didn't pass it by reference. Well, that's a big bad. That would not have been good. I guess it still would have worked, but I should pass in the reference here. Otherwise, it copies the entire array and then does the operation, and that's slower. You don't want to do that. So yeah, we get a constant reference. That means that we can't change the array. We can't remove an item or add an item. That's what the const is for. To kind of, honestly, it's mostly like for you to remember, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to mess with what's coming in. I'm just gonna take the reference and send it off to here. And I did move that function down the list on the other side, so I like to keep them in the same order on each side. I feel like that could be inlined, but yeah, for now we'll leave it. I also like to put 2 spaces between things that are different categories. Like these things are all together, but these are kind of like their separate own thing. And sure, they are actually the same things here, but so that makes me, you know what? I am actually gonna split these up. I'll take it back. Because now we're gonna make the blueprint version. And now these are related completely. So we can keep a single space there. I want to copy these. They're the most like it. So despawn actors. I'm gonna put array. Despawn actors. And actors. And then SS. So const. Yeah, I guess that would be the same here too. Constant reference. How come it doesn't like it? Oh, because it's expecting to return something. No, we're not returning anything. Oh, yeah, we don't need a branch version because there's no success or not success. It just does its thing. So we're not going to get different results. We don't need a branch. It just is what it is. Despawn actors. It should be a const reference to the array. But that also means we have to put the viewParam reference. Otherwise it'll probably consider this an output parameter. Well, we want this to be an input parameter, and that's what this ref does. For things that are reference, it means that this is an input parameter, not an output. I think that's it. Okay, and then the actor, runtime actor list. So despawn actors is just going to call uSkyHigh, and that's the name of my framework. Actor pooling utilities and despawn actors, and we'll give it the actor list out of that, and that's it. Now we need to make the blueprint version. So void, and it could be the same. There's no input parameters or anything, so I could just make this also the blueprint version. I try to be very careful about that. If there's any efficiency to be found in, doing it otherwise, I will split them up. Or if I have to for branching purposes, but this one can't have a branch. Despawn actors, the autofill kind of goof there. It did correctly put this here though. So we want this to be a blue node, not a green one. It needs to be part of the instruction chain. So it has to be blueprint callable, but it cannot be pure. You can explicitly say that it's false. And that's something I learned recently, because if you put const here, it will automatically assume that you want this. that you want it to be a pure node. You can tell it explicitly, no, do not do that. You have to write it out. Like if you just do that, it'll assume that's a pure node and it'll do it automatically. But you can tell it explicitly not to do that. So that was new. I didn't know that until recently. Okay, despawn all actors, right? Because this is inside the runtime list. I'm also going to put in parentheses actor pooling so we know exactly what system that's pulling off of. And then I don't know if there's a category. I guess we can just put actor pooling in there too. And we'll put these on the next line. And do we have any other keywords that might be applicable here? So if I'm typing in blueprints, or if another person is typing in blueprints, might they use a different word to describe it? Now despawn is going to get captured automatically by being both in the function title and also in the display name. What else might someone call a despawn? Destroy means something else, so we don't want to do that. I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, I don't think there's any other really terms that make sense to use there. So I think that's all the parameters we need. And it should show up now. We'll do a compile. Sometimes when you add something to a header file, the compile can get a little goofy. So we'll see if it shows up. If it doesn't, oh yeah, it already ran into like an error. So yeah, we're just gonna not do that. What, did it crash the whole thing? No way, it crashed the editor. Compiling while the editor is running sometimes can be a little goofy, as you've seen. Yeah, if it's not gonna advance, then we're just gonna have to stop it and restart it. We'll compile first, see what we get. And again, this should all both increase the readability of the code, the complexity of the code in blueprints, and just be more convenient all around. Oh yeah, we don't need that. So this was the one, right? So we should be able to despawn all actors, and now we can avoid all of this. I mean, before it was even bigger because we had 2 steps to make this work, which we boiled down to 1, and now this entire thing, excuse me. Oh, we don't want to delete the reference to the list, just the functions. And now it's just one function, and it no longer needs a comment because, well, the function says it all. Despawn all actors, it's right in the name. We're done. And now I can use that anywhere. And again, it cuts down on code complexity to have these, I guess, macro-like functions. Yeah, that looks good. And it should be more efficient, especially for each loops. And in blueprints are pretty slow, from my understanding. So anytime you do a loop, you could really benefit from it being in C++. Like here even, you could batch this, but this only happens when the screen transition hits, so I'm not too worried about this. But I could see this function being used during gameplay at some point. So this one I think is worth making. This function, it kind of hits at a moment where all the action stops. So I don't think this is all that important to make into a C++ kind of macro, if you will. You know, like, oh, you can say, oh, this is a whole bunch of nodes. Why don't we do that? Well, because, like, it happens during basically a loading segment. So, like, we don't care. You're not gonna, there's no life or death frames to be saved when you're hitting a loading zone. So, but this, despite being used in a loading zone right now, I think has a lot of potential to be used outside of that. Well, I didn't really need all this rerouting anymore. So let's, oh, that's not what I wanted. There. Let's clean that up. Get rid of that redirect. Make it a little more readable. And then this, to help to reduce the spaghetti, you can kind of align it a little better like here. In fact, you can put these two on the same line. This doesn't have a fail state, so remove that. It'll go right through to the next one. I like to put these little redirect nodes in front, you might have noticed, because it just kind of, it evens out the curve of it a bit more. It just kind of makes them a little more stable. Because if you go to them directly, I feel like it looks sloppier. Like it's not, well, let me delete these so they're out of the way. Like this looks kind of sloppy to me. I feel like when you, well, there's another benefit to it too. One, if you want to just disconnect it, but you don't want that line to be gone. Say for debugging, you're like, I'm going to turn that off for now. You can easily reconnect them. But they also kind of look like functions in a way. Like this is their own function, its own logic thread, and it starts here. And anything that wants to connect to it can just connect up to here. And it also, if you put a comment block on it, it just kind of looks like you know exactly where it starts. Boink, it's right there. So I like to do that. You can also line them up if you're super OCD. But I'll try to spare you that one. I'm currently playing Mega Man the Revenge Master. What is that? The Revenge Master? I got Samurai Jack. I don't know what yours is, but I'm watching Samurai Jack. That's a good show, by the way. I guess it's kind of old now, right? Samurai Jack? At least back in the day, it was revered as being pretty much like a cartoon masterpiece. I don't know if that reputation is like held through till today, but Samurai Jack is objectively very just good in general, but it's also very artistic in a way. Like if they want to take their time building the suspense or doing an establishing sequence to get like a specific mood or to like get across a specific setting or something, they will take the time to just do it. Like I don't know how they got the free reign to just do whatever they wanted with it, but man, they really did. And it's incredible. And for that reason, also, a lot of the episodes kind of like they do their sort of own thing. Like there's some episodes where like there's almost no dialogue. And then other episodes that are more chatty. It's actually kind of neat. I don't think YouTube will let you post links here. This is also not the place for advertising, so I guess not. But yeah, I guess we're done with that section. It kind of bugs me that these two are connected though. This might be an OCD thing, but like, I like to keep each kind of logic thread its own thing. I feel like because they're intentionally two different things. You know what I mean? I don't know how I want to do that. Oh, that's the other reason that I put these leading dots too. So if you have like the node, but you have like other nodes attached to it or in front of it or whatever, you can use that as a kind of like, okay, this is that space. From here to here is that function's kind of zone. I try to be efficient with that. So I don't know if it would be like this or this. I try to put things to the left if I can. But this always makes a nice little space so nothing invades that. Okay, I think we're done with any kind of refactoring here. I'll just move this to kind of be in the middle of these things. So yeah, that's how screen transitions work. I guess it sounds a little more complicated when I have to explain it in words out loud, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And I think the result was pretty good. Oh, well. Oh. Ignore that message. I think I'm adding to an event twice, the same function, and it's getting mad about that. It has to do with the sound system. Okay, there it is. Yep, and it despawns. Everything looks like it's working. Oh. Well, that one didn't despawn. Oh, that is funny. Is he going? Is he still here? Oh, we got trapped. That's funny. Oh, he's free! And now he's not. He might not be on the list. I'll have to check to see if his actor file has that runtime list or not. That's funny. So that was the... Oh, we can hide the rooms now. That was... Chainsaws? That's his name, right? Chainsaw? Yeah, the Chainsaw Blade. Is he not on the list? No, he is. But he didn't despawn. But the other ones had despawned. Okay. Despawn on room transition list. We send the actor list to despawn actors, which should attempt to despawn actor here, which will try to find the actor component. Actually, I'm not sure if this should have an error or a warning. It should fail. It should show an error if the actor was invalid, because you sent it bad data at that point. But it not finding an actor spawn component is, I'm not sure that's even worth a warning. Because you could have a list of multiple objects, right? And it could be a mix and match of things that can despawn and can't despawn is what you're sending into here. So I feel like we shouldn't have a warning for that. I'll make a note of that. You may be sending a list from Despawn actors of a variety of actors that don't necessarily expect that they will all contain. Oh. I should just make this a block, then it's going to be multiple lines. Excuse me. Okay, you may... Excuse me. You may be sending a list from Despawn actors of a variety of actors that don't necessarily, or say where you might not necessarily expect that they will all contain actors that have a despawn or have a spawn controller. So this should not be a warning that goes to the log. And I'll sign it with my name. 2025, not 2024. 0101. Yeah, we're still in the first day here. So, because I could come back 6 months later and be like, why did I comment this out? Or if there's nothing here, I'll be like, I don't know, that looks like that should be a warning. So considering I changed my mind, I like to write a note in here to say, why did I change my mind? What was I thinking in that moment? So let's proofread it. You may be sending a list from Despawn actors of a variety that contains a variety of actors where you might not necessarily expect that they will all contain actors that have a spawn controller. So this should not be a warning that goes to the log. Yeah, that's fine. I also hate these little automatic formatting stars, bullet points or whatever. Okay, then we'll separate that away from the other instruction for clarity. I think that makes sense to me. But again, if you do supply a bad actor, it will error. That's definitely something that I'm pretty consistent with. If you send bad data somewhere, let's say before we before we try to compile this time, in case it crashes, I think that's good practice. Anytime that you send like an actor or an object reference and it was invalid, I always put an error for that. Now, I don't mean like an error that crashes the program. It'll just show up in the log as an error. And it'll show up on screen too. This is my own logging macro that I use. It will show up both on, well, that's what these two trues were. This one's if it shows up on screen, and this one is if it shows up written in the log. Sometimes I may not want them, either or. But that's definitely one I would want to show up. Because if you wrote code that is sending an invalid actor reference to something, I feel like you should know that was a thing. Like you'll see a couple things on startup that will go like say, oh, you tried to send a runtime list reference that was bad, and then you can kind of clean those up, or at least you're aware that it's happening. So if something's not working and you don't know why, well, yeah, it's in the error log. Oh yeah, so that guy was in the actor list, and yet he did not despawn. Well, he despawned that time. Is it because he was down here? I don't know. I'm not sure what that was about. He escaped judgment for some reason. Yeah, they all disappeared. Oh, that one didn't. Well, that's goofy. So what determines whether they do or not? Huh. I don't know. That's kind of strange. It does kind of seem like when they're close to the border. I don't know. Not sure about that. Yeah, that one survived. Unless that's a different object that doesn't know how. Maybe it's because we recompiled? I mean, goofy things happen like that. Sometimes you recompile and things just are goofy. Because see, those ones going off the screen there, it's possible those actors may not be part of this. So like Enemy Bullet is from Enemy Base. Enemy Base has... it has that list. The Chainsaw Blade is from Enemy Base. And double checking, it does have that list. Enemy Bullet has that list too, yeah. So then what? That was GSQ, and he's got this Junk Shot, right? So Junk Shot is from Enemy Base, and it should have that list. Does. And the mini Junk Shot, they're different. Potentially. They're on projectile base. Yeah. It's there. But they're not despawning on room transition. Weird. Hello and good night. Hello and good night, yes. What's up? How was your New Year's celebration? It was fine. I just stayed home with my wife, and that was it. Wasn't too eventful, but I stayed up kind of late. Junk Shot projectile is literally Dustman's Dust Crusher. Yes, it is, actually. That's a good eye. Oh, yeah, we did definitely steal that from the Power Fighters Dustman sprites. Let's see. Are these soft pointer references or no? That could be maybe what those errors are at the beginning. Where are they coming from? Oh, that's from Life Up. Let's try again. Let's look at everything. What do we got for messages? The Viz Group body weapon handfield provided component was invalid. Okay, we'll take a look at that one in a second. Life Up large. Runtime actor list subscriber failed. List soft pointer was invalid. But that's not the Junk Shot. That's all the error ones. Well, I mean, it could be related. It is an error based on the lists. That's the item here. Where is the item? I could probably just type item and filter, right? No! Is it case sensitive? Maybe? Life Up? Life Up. There we are. Well, let's see. We had 4 errors. That was each from 0, 1, 2, and 3. But it doesn't say which one is the bad one, because it thinks it's invalid. All pickup items and all despawn on room transition. Those are the only 2. Oh, we can see which one it's subscribed to. Despawn on room transition, but did not? like that one. Well, that's not the one I expected to go in. Well, that's a curious case as well. That air's been there for a while, but I'm looking at it now primarily because it's like, you know, relevant. Where's that spawner? And here's the actor pool for him, and here's his object. So it thinks this one is invalid? Looks valid to me. It's there, it doesn't look corrupt or anything. Hey, it went away. We don't get the error anymore. Maybe there was just something goofy and it needed to resave. Yay, okay, well that's gone. And now there's the Viz group. It's not related, but I want to look at it quick. Provided component was invalid. Viz groups, or also known as visibility groups, well, also known as it's something that I created. Yeah, like everybody knows what it is. Yeah, also known as, commonly referred to, this one thing that I made that no one else uses. I call them visibility groups. Said the hand one, right? I'll explain what that is in a minute. I just want to find where that thing is. Oh! That was a very correct error, because I did not connect this to the array. And it should have been, I think. That was a very correct error. I did not connect the pins on that. See, this is why errors are good. Sprite body shoot. Yeah, I don't have anything that currently uses the hand anymore. I could change it so that it does, if you want to see what that does. I think I have to go to Mega Man and weapons. And the weapon definition for the Buster. Change it from Buster to hand. Watch this. This is actually kind of cool. If it still works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to look dumb. I haven't tested this one in a long time. Yep, there it is. So you can exchange, so it doesn't look, the visual is not the Buster anymore, it's the hand. Some of the weapons are like that in various Mega Man games. So, now he's like Iron Man or something, I guess. Just shoots with the palm of his hand. Whoop. But that's it. If he charges, it's going to be the other one, though. Where the rocket arm goes off, so I guess it's technically a hand, but not the same thing. Because that's another setting. Let me close all these. Uh-oh. What did we get? Why did we get an error? What happened? Why did we get an error? I guess it doesn't like the fact that I'm at runtime here. That's actually kind of funny. Here, let me stop this first then. Close these. Okay, now. So right now it's the hand. But there's also the Mega Arm, which is where there's nothing on the arm itself. So it just controls what the visual is for when you're shooting. But obviously we want it to be Buster. So I can customize every weapon to have its own, you know, what it's doing when you see the visual of when it's being fired. So visibility groups help me manage that, because really what we have here is Mega Man is split up into multiple sprites. So really, let me slow it down here. what's going on here is the sprites are different. The shooting sprite is a different one, and when I shoot, I hide this one and show this one instead. So the sprite of the hand where is it here? Why is it invisible? Oh, it wasn't checked. So the hand here is its own thing. And the Buster, likewise. It's its own object here. And we got the shoot. And then we have one more body that is, I think. Oh no, that's it, I think. Because if the mega arm shoots and the hand disappears, we just don't show these ones. We show the shooting sprite, but without the Buster and the hand. And they're actually always there, attached to the arm. They're just being turned invisible. And an invisibility group manages that. So these are actually all animating together at the same time. I'm trying to think if I can show that or not. I think so. I think if I disable the visibility groups, I think you might be able to see that. Yeah. To see how everything's actually there. It's all being animated together. It just... I hide certain sprites when it's supposed to show or one or the other. So that's how that actually works. And if I don't know if this still works or not. Do I have my camera changer? We look at the 3D version of the camera. You'll be able to see it a little better. Oh, I think why he disappears, by the way, when shooting is I think because this was so far back it was going off the camera. I don't know if these are... Yeah. I'll keep these a little more in line here. Their offset doesn't matter in 2D. They would matter more in 3D, but it's not a 3D game, so we don't really care. But what I'm looking for is I made a little thing to change the camera here. How far along is the project? 15% maybe? Not very much. We've got a lot of art assets to catch up on and create. Programming wise, it's getting, I would say, to the 45, almost 50% mark maybe. There's still a lot to do though, but most of the art assets aren't created yet. But I have put in a lot of programming. I don't know, maybe 50% is a bit much. Let's say 40% programming. Considering, you know, a lot of the back-end stuff has been done, but not a lot of the logic in game. I'm looking for game mode, I think. And then I should have my camera select here. I don't know if this still works or not. Oh wait, no, that's the old version. I have a better one now. This one. There. Let's see if this works. This might turn the 3D camera on. Yeah, there we go. Sort of. So. you can kind of see, now that the 3D camera is on, that everything's a little spaced out. But it's the same thing. That's weird. How come they're instantly despawning? That's kind of funny. I think I know why. I think I know why that's the case. This is telling it to unsubscribe. I'm going to... Hold on. I have to think about the logic here for a second. Are you going to use Mega Man 7 Sunstar sprites from Sprite as resource? No, we're drawing all of our own animations. Let me think for a second. This one is the alt camera, right? This one's the alt camera. So if we are the alt camera, and we invert the follow player, I feel like this should be, if it's true, then we invert it, right? Not false. And then so you have to use the alternate camera. Oh, I see why I did that backwards. I see why I did that backwards. I feel like it should be, because this basically is use alt camera, yes or no. So if I do an and, a Boolean and, if these two are the same, I guess an equals. Oh, I guess you don't have a specific Boolean equals. If these are the same, use alternate camera and you are the alternate camera, then you want to oh, there. Then you do want to follow the player. So if it's true, then we want to follow the player. If it's not true, then we don't want to follow the player. And also, if it is true, then we want to do this. And if it's false, we also want to unsubscribe from that list so that we're not doing it. I think this makes more sense than this complicated garble of crap. And so that looks right. If we are using the alternate camera, and we are the alternate camera, true, follow player and do whatever. Let's think of it in reverse. If we use the alternate camera, but we are not the alternate camera, we're the 2D camera, then that's false. And then if this is off, so we are the alternate camera, but this is false, then we're false and we don't do anything. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. So I'm going to test that first before I erase the other logic. Are we better now? No, it's still not working. Okay. We will do a trace then. So, breakpoint, add a breakpoint. Okay. I'm not sure which version of the actor, because we've got two of them. But let's, how do we step through this now? Resume, advance one single frame. Oh, here it is. Continue execution. Step to the next node. Wait, can I not see what it is? Oh, it's false. Okay. And this one should be true. So if this is false and this is true, we should go to the false path. It went to the true path? Oh no, they're both false. No. What is this, game? I can't read it now. Camera select, that should be camera select. Why did it give a false then? Oh, this was true, I'm sorry. Why does it say it's false then? I guess that was a default, but the default was changed to true. Okay, that's fine. So these two are true. This must be the alternate camera, or it should be. I don't know if you can tell which object this is in currently. Oh, here it is, camera tractor 2. Is that, oh, I'm not allowed to fiddle here. Okay. All right, we're not allowed to fiddle with this while the breakpoint's on. Okay, fine. Okay, if that's true, then this should be the one. This should be the one that's activating. Because this runtime list is player camera tracker, yeah. And what, the 2D camera didn't run at all? This is the 2D camera, this is the 3D camera. Okay, we were in the right one. Yeah, it's on there, camera trackers. Oh, you know what? I think I know what's wrong. No, maybe not. Ah, there it is. There it is. This is the one. The weapon despawn focus and the enemy spawn proximity. These should be on here. Because this doesn't have it. The other tracker doesn't have those ones. That's what the ones that we need. So I'm going to remove them from here. I'm going to put them on the base object. That should fix it. So we need... Honestly, we're just going to unsubscribe from all the lists. Can we just clear lists? Let's see. Unsubscribe from what? Oh, there's only one, huh? There's not an unsubscribe from all lists. Well, that's on me. Let's see. Unsubscribe, subscribe to list. Yeah, that's really it. Okay, let's just make one then. Ufunction blueprint callable void unsubscribe from all lists. Subscribe from all lists. Okay, looks all right. And there is an unregister. Yeah, there's no internal function for it either. I guess I'll just loop it. Oh, here. Here, under end play, we have one already. So let's put in our function there instead and take that code and put it here. While the runtime list number is not 0, then continue to unsubscribe from the top of the list. That makes sense. That works for me. And we're gonna close the editor preemptively this time, because I have a feeling it's gonna explode if we don't. I really, really like this remix of Pirate Man's theme. It's the best one that I've heard. It's from a guy called Met. Oh, that's his handle. He's really good. They made a couple mods for the games. He did the whole soundtrack for him. X1, Mega Man and Bass. I don't know if he did X2 or 3. I would assume so. But those ones are probably his best. His X1 soundtrack and his Mega Man Bass soundtrack are fucking just, oof, they're good. Okay, is this used anywhere else? Double check before we relaunch the editor. Doesn't look it. What's this? Can be const. I feel like that shouldn't be const. Maybe I'll make a note of that. Yeah, let's make a note of that. Because Rider will, the compiler here called Rider, it will suggest if you can make something const or not. And technically, yeah, you could make this const, but I think if I saw const on this function, I'd be a little confused because I'm like, wait, but you say you're registering to a list. That should be changing something about your data. So how is this like a const function? Like it shouldn't be. It sounds misleading, you know? So I'm gonna write, while this could be a const function, I'm gonna put that in all quotes. It makes it sound misleading. $2025, don't mess it up. I haven't yet. I'm sure my time will come. It's a new year, don't screw your dates up. Yeah, and same thing here. The unregister from list. While this could be a const function, it makes it sound misleading. I think we'll leave those notes there. It also seems to think that this is const, but it's not. But it is? It's not. No, it's not. Oh, this is from the runtime list. The others from the list subscriber, so. And that's why it thinks it can be const. Yeah, that makes sense now. Because it's actually manipulating the data from the list. This is the actual list that you provided here. Oh god, this should be, is valid. I should check this system out, because I think there's a couple holes here in the code. That doesn't look right. Register to list, runtime list. Yeah, okay, I think that's all right. And we've got the unsubscribe from all lists. We'll use that one. as our new function. There, see, we squashed a few bugs. I'll say yes to open the file we were currently in. Oh, no, I'll leave those off for now. We're gonna unsubscribe from all lists. Okay, then the big change we want to make is that now we have to include enemy proximity, and that's for spawning, because it tracks the camera, not Mega Man's position. And then weapon despawn focus. Save that. And then we're going to change or remove that from this screen capture. This is the 2D camera. In fact, there's no need for the runtime list anymore, but I'll still leave it just in case we need it for something later. Yeah, that should do it. Oh, we don't need this breakpoint anymore. Or, well, we shouldn't. Let's say we shouldn't need the breakpoint anymore. And it looks like we don't. So there we go. Now that's the 3D camera. What's this? We don't want that. Why is there something here? What is it? What are we doing? Can we not have random pop-ups, please? Thank you. Yeah, okay, so now this is the 3D camera. And you can kind of see, I ignore that, that's the sound glitch I mentioned earlier. So you see all the sprites are active now. You can't see the Buster because it's behind the hand, I think. Otherwise you would be able to see it. But yeah, so like I said, all the animations, all of these characters are, all these characters' sprites are animated at the same time. It's actually, yeah, I think it's easier to see when the camera stops a little. Yeah, and then you can kind of see them offset like that. They're all animated with at the same time. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tilt that camera down a little. That might give us a better perspective of what's going on. Camera tracker 2, this is the 3D one. And let's go to perspective mode. And we want to angle it down, right? So like that. Let's see how that goes. Oh, that might be too much. But now you can kind of see it. Now you can kind of see them a little better. But you see that they're literally animated as the same thing. They're all on the same animation track. And I just kind of hide what sprite shows at any given time. So if I then now reconnect the showing and the hiding functions, you'll see it work. Yeah? No? They're still there. What did I do wrong this time? Oh, hold on. How come I can still see them? Oh, alright. Oh yeah, I had to invoke it once. See? Now it's going correctly. So it only shows the one that it needs to. So they're still there. It's just invisible. And that's how I manage those. I think that's honestly the best way to do it, because then you only have to change one animation whenever you do the animation changes. You don't have to worry about, because it's probably this one. So that gives us back flat again. Yeah, that's flat. Okay. And yeah, actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to apply the default one. So this viz group body normal, set visibility, set group visibility. I'm going to say that it's visible. Yeah. And that hides the other ones. That's actually a property here to, I don't know if you maybe can't see it on that part here. Visibility state. Oh yeah, hide other groups behavior. You can hide other groups or hide specific groups if you only want to do one. But right now, I want to hide all the other ones, so they're the only groups in here. It's just to control Mega Man's visibility. Okay, and that should initiate the default visibility. Yep, it did. So it's no longer showing all of them right at the start. And then if we go into 2D camera mode, it should look perfect. Hopefully. Yep. See? Everything was lined up. That's how I manage those sprites. And everything works fine. So what I'm going to do, just make sure I don't screw this up in the future. I'm just gonna make all of these the same 0, 0, 0. Not the X, the Z. Yeah? Oh no, not for that one. The one in the back here. Do I have the back one? Hey, I'm just gonna select them from here, make sure I know which one. Yeah, that was not the one. Okay, he's -6, yeah. I'm gonna keep him lined up. And then the hand is 5. Gonna go back to 0. The Buster's already at 0. And I think that's it. I think it's just those 4. Okay. Because if the camera gets too close, if they are offset in actual physical dimensions and not their, like, what they show up as, it could actually hide them. Reminds me of my old Visual Basic days trying to hide a bitmap during the command statement. Yeah. Really cool. I'm sure it must require a lot of organization. Not too bad. That's why I created the visibility group system, so that I could make it as easy as possible. So when the object initializes, I just pre-program here. Group 1, only the body needs to show. That's for normal viewing without a buster. The weapon buster group, the body, and the shoot body, which is different than the normal body. The shoot body and the buster need to show, but then everything else will be hidden. And then for the Mega Arm, only the shoot body needs to show because his arm's missing because it actually fired off as the weapon. And then the body weapon hand, so just when he holds his hand out like Iron Man. So only the shoot body and the hand need to show, and that's it. So it's kind of just, if you're not included, you're not showing, essentially. And then this just sets the default normal view for startup. And then at any other time, all I have to do is call this visibility group and then just set group visibility. And it will hide all the other ones automatically and set only what this one is set to show. So it actually makes it really easy to manage that way. And then it's kind of a pre-packaged component here, so you can use it in any object in the game now. Or I shouldn't just say object. It's not like game objects like Unity. It's close though. They call them actors here in Unreal. So it actually makes it pretty easy to manage that. And then when I when I animate them, that's probably where it's the goofiest. Let's say the walking animation, right? Make sure we're not in play mode. This is where it gets the goofiest, I think. Oh, they're not updating right now. I think I disabled that code. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I think if I go too fast, the sprites don't update correctly. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to make these sprites update when you're scrubbing through. But you'll notice that both the ARM and the armless version are visible at the same time. In some ways, it makes it easy to see, like, oh, well, they're both there, right? You can tell that they're lined up. So sometimes it's good to have them both visible, because if they're misaligned, you'll know for sure. But you can just turn them off in the visibility too. You can just say, oh, visible? I don't think so. Just turn it off and now you only see the other one. So, I mean, it's not too hard to manage. I definitely prefer to do it this way than to try to do two completely separate animations. Because if you have, you could do them separate and just transition between one. You say, oh, this animation was at 3 seconds in playback, so let's save that 3, load the new animation, and fast forward to 3 seconds ahead. You know, you could do it that way, but then if you edit one animation and forget to edit the other one, well, now there are different lengths potentially, or different offsets, and it just makes it much harder to manage. So I just like to do it in one animation and then just hide those. Any object, character, projectile... Oh wait, I missed one. They're called actors in Doom as well. Oh, okay. Any object, character, projectile, spawner, etc. is called an actor in Doom. Yeah, that makes sense. That's essentially how it works here as well. Yeah, so even like terrain and stuff like that is still considered an actor. It's just a mesh actor or 3D, rendering actor. Anyway, I think we fixed that now, right? So yeah, so that should have all three, and this one should have all three. Yeah, so I think that's fixed now. We can go back to right. So let's make sure it's not all goofy. I think it looks okay. Yeah, and so this is 3D camera mode. I just use this mostly for debugging. It's not really meant to be anything. I mean, you can test with it just to see what things look like. Like here, these are 3D meshes and stuff. And Mega Man's he's a 2.5D character. He's not strictly 2D. So he can go up these slopes and stuff. And the enemies and stuff kind of all fall in that same plane. So he still works in 3D. Because Unreal doesn't have 2D at all. It doesn't have... Like, Unity has 2D physics, and 3D physics is separate things, but Unreal has no such thing. Everything is actually 3D. Which does come at a little bit of a performance cost, unfortunately, but that's how it is. So that's what you gotta work with. Okay, so he's actually a full 3D capable object here. And so you'll see the levels do... You'll notice they're slightly spaced, the layers. You can actually see the gaps between the tile layers. They are all 3D objects. But you can especially see it with the crates up here, or the things producing the crates. As I slide the camera, you'll notice they kind of move, they kind of desync here. Especially here, you see where the pipes are. The pipes are supposed to connect. but you'll notice that depending on which side you're looking on, you see the gap there. So yeah, it's all 3D under the hood. Which kind of has a neat effect to it, but it's not the intention of what we're going for. Yeah, look, he doesn't despawn. Shouldn't he despawn when he's away from the camera? I don't know. Well, at least he despawns on room transition. We'll give him that now, at least. Yeah, okay, I guess that's all working. It might have just been because we recompiled while the editor was still running that something went goofy that time. Oh, he's up there. I can play with the controller. I don't need to use the keyboard. Oh, there. Though I've gotten pretty alright with the keyboard over time. Yeah, this was the one that we noticed the problem on. Looks like it's working now. Oh yeah, but these objects, yeah. No, that one survived, though. I don't know. He didn't that time. Yeah, something's goofy about that. I'm not sure. I think it was pretty clear that they were part of that list. I might want to debug and show the contents of the list then too, to see who exactly is in the list at that given point in time. Because if their name is for whatever reason not in the list, then maybe they got removed from the list at one point, you know? Whoop, fell down. It's kind of funky to play it like in 3D mode. The doors don't actually do anything yet. It's just a normal screen transition. Oh boy, it's the boss, but he doesn't do anything. He's just a normal enemy, but with no AI attached. Okay, just getting myself back to the start. Well, it looks like most things are working. I just don't know about those enemy bullets. Junk shot minis, I think they're called. So, I don't know. I'll have to take a closer look later. Now let's turn the 3D camera off, make sure that it's working okay. Okay, good. I think we're all set. Well, it's coming up on 2 hours? Wait, 8, 9, 10, 11, 3 hours, almost 3 hours. So I think I'm gonna go at this point. Like I said at the start, I haven't been feeling super great with all the busyness of the holiday and staying up late yesterday. So I think that's where we'll end it. Any quick questions before we head out? Otherwise, I'm out of here. Trying to think, I thought I worked on something else too. I did a lot of back-end work over the holiday break. Like making math functions, just adding utility stuff here. just like basic things like, hey, I have an array of numbers, right? What if I wanted to add a number to all of the numbers in the array, or divide all the numbers in the array by something? Just stuff like that, and cleaning up and reorganizing things. Wonder if it's possible to assign a class or inheritance to actors and base certain interactions only on that. Can you give me an example? I think I want to say that that is possible, but I just want to make sure I understand exactly what you mean, what it should be doing. Because there is inheritance for objects, for sure. Like, try and find a good example. Like these junk shop minis. I would say the one that are pre-programmed that go like down. Because not Tamp, Soshi Breaker does the same junk shots. But let's say the diagonal ones here, right? Because they are up here. I think you can see it, yeah. It says parent class. You can change what the parent class is. And that has certain attributes to it. Okay, so like in Doom, you can have an actor inherit from another by defining actor. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's doing here. So the Junk Shot Mini, which is it's just this hitbox and and the sprite. And it's got its runtime list and all that stuff, but most of this is inherited, if not all of it. I think the only thing that this object changes out of its parent class is the direction that it's moving. Yeah, the movement vector. So it's going 100, it's a speed of 140 to the right and 140 down per second. That's pixels per second. That's the only thing that this changes. Because here's the base object that's listed here, so we can open that up. Let me put them all in one tab so we can see them. Oh, get in there. So this is the Junk Shot, the mini down right version. This is the inherited stuff for the Junk Shot Mini base class. And as you see here, the update function is in here because they all update the same way. Let's see, component overlaps. Oh yeah, this is doing damage. Like, yeah, Mega Man's actually taking damage, by the way, when he gets hit. It's just that he has infinite life and he doesn't react to damage, but he's actually taking the damage. This is checking to see if it made contact with Mega Man. So it's checking, basically, have I overlapped with any objects that have the damage interface? And if I have, we'll go through the actors that we found one by one. And does the faction system permit hostile engagement against that actor? And if true, if it's permit, then we actually send the damage. So Mega Man is actually getting the damage signals. It's just he's not actually getting damage from it. Because he has 3 damage that he's trying to do, but Mega Man's just like, I don't feel it. It tickles. And that's all in the Junk Shot Mini base class. And here's the movement. So it just reads the movement vector that we assign when we inherit it, and it moves based on that. And then this is also has a base class of projectile base. Let's see, it only has update, right? Yeah, that's the only function. And then when it spawns, it sets a random sprite for variety. And then the projectile base class has the auto despawn which should be checking if it's out of range of the camera. Get actor location. Despawn focus list is the weapon despawn focus, yeah. And then if it is outside the box, just checking, is this inside the box, the range of the box? If true, then we just don't do anything. It's stupid bug. If it's true, we just don't do anything. But if it's false, then we want to despawn ourselves. And that's all that is, and that runs on its own. I think I know why this doesn't work. Maybe? No, it does. It calls it. Let's say if you don't call this parent function, then this one won't run. This one's calling it. This doesn't have... No, this one doesn't have an event tick. It's grayed out, so it's not being used. And it would have worked anyway, because the parent is still there. Yeah, I don't know why they're not despawning. Monsters in Doom are automatically classified as monsters, so using the console command kill monsters triggers death only on monsters. Yeah, you can definitely do that in Unreal. That's how it works. And then the final parent class here is just the Actor Plus. That's a special version of the Actor that I made. And that's the final, that's the bottom level. In Blueprints at least. But Actor Plus is parent is Actor. Like normal Actor. And that's in my Unreal Engine Plus giant utility super library here. Not that one, plus classes. So here's Actor Plus, which is defined in C++, not the other ones. These are all defined in Blueprints, but this one was a C++ one, so both C++ and Blueprints can use this. And it's got just some additional couple little things. But its parent here is Actor. So it goes through. And Actor, its parent is UObject, which means Unreal Object. So actors can be placed in a world, and Unreal objects are just the base class for anything in Unreal that has to be managed by the engine in terms of like automatic garbage collection and stuff like that. Which apparently has a base class of UObject base utility. But we're going down a rabbit hole, which has a parent of UObject base. Which finally we reached the bottom. Okay, it has no parent. We have actually reached the bottom now. So that's what, 6 or 8 classes deep at that point? Yeah, it definitely has inheritance. I wonder, the check for out of bounds is negating the transition check? No, it shouldn't be. They're on different times here. Because the auto despawn is only, well, it does check if time is frozen. I guess time would have to be paused for it to skip that. But it would only contribute to it despawning, not the other way around. I don't know. Yeah, it would only double its efforts to despawn. It wouldn't interfere with it. It would actually add a higher likelihood of it despawning because it would still be trying to run through this. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check it in more detail. I'm wondering if maybe it's getting unsubscribed from the list somehow. Or there's a glitch in the subscriber that maybe when time is frozen or something that it turns off that functionality. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at it again. It was one of the first systems I made, so it deserves a second look in its entirety for sure, just to make sure I didn't goof something up, because it could have been just something goofy in the programming. which is where actor runtime actor list. I feel like it should be called actor runtime list. Whatever, it's fine. Yeah, I'll go through that code later. I'll just review the entire class and make sure there's no goofiness going on. But yeah, so test with time frozen. Oh, it is. Time is frozen during the screen transition. Yeah, it does. Where should be in recent here. Here. Right here, in fact. This freezes all the things on the screen transition freeze timer list here. So enemy time, player time, and camera time. I typoed that. That's a capital I, capital T-I, lowercase m-e. That's great. I'm not fixing it. I don't care. But yeah, I kind of wonder just to see what it would be if we pause time. I don't think this will fix it, but I kind of wonder if we should be doing this anyway. And then I'll leave that one unconnected. Uh-oh. The transition is not taking effect at all now. I wonder why. We're only pausing these ones. Well, what timer is it using to update with then? Global time. Well, global time's not paused. So it should still be going. Maybe something's goofy with the time system. Where am I here? Yeah, I just want to go back to the other... Yeah, global time is not in here, so... That's strange. Wait though, what is... That's the timer. Oh, you know what? I think it's also because this is just unfreezes here. We have to unset the pause as well. Yeah, why can't I click on anything? Yes? No? Okay, whatever. It's disconnected. You can see it's disconnected. So unpause here. And what are we using for a time source here? Screen transition time source. This is global time. Okay, just gonna double check that these have all the things they need. Player camera trackers. Player camera trackers, and it is player camera trackers. Okay, all that should work. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, it was just not unpausing time, I guess, after. That was the problem. I put unfreeze, but that's not the same thing. Freeze time means the objects can still do their thing, but pause really actually shuts off the update function completely from these things. Oh no, they still survived. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It definitely doesn't matter. Freeze time works better though in this case because the they will spawn on screen as they come through. You'll notice that when the screen came in, it had to fully come in and then the enemy spawned in. If I freeze time only instead of pausing time, the enemy spawners will react to the camera coming into their zone because processing is still enabled at that point. So you notice he was actually at the edge of the screen automatically, like he was there. He didn't have to wait for the camera to fully transition. I don't know. Now they're not coming through. I don't know. I'll look at it later. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go. It's already almost 11:30 now, so definitely reached my time requirement. Yeah, so we'll be back the 8th? Next Wednesday, the 8th, hopefully on time this time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It wasn't that late. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But yeah, either way, that's it. So wherever you're watching from, most of you seem to be watching on Twitch, but we're also on YouTube, which is actually a better option, especially if your internet connection is not super great, or you want to rewind. You can rewind in real time while we're still live, which is really helpful. At least I find it to be helpful. Yeah, maybe I have to do it one frame before screen changes. That's what it was doing, and then we changed it. And now it's not doing it. I don't know. I'll step through it and check it, probably through the C++ code, and see what's going on. I'll figure it out one way or another. You know what? Let me write myself a reminder because I may forget about it as soon as I get off air. So, runtime list. Okay, despawn actors on screen transition doesn't seem to be working for projectiles or enemy projectiles. There's my note. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Programming's weird. Never program. That's my tip. Don't become a programmer, and then you won't have to worry about all these problems. That's someone else's problem. But yeah, so I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky and Facebook. It's all under the same name, Mark D. Wiz. So go ahead and give me a follow, yay! Or like the video and stuff too. Whatever else you're supposed to say at the end of these streams. And yeah, I'll see you next week then. So I guess we're all done. So that's it. See you guys later. Bye bye.